want to make contact yet. I can't stay here much longer. Okay, figure's gone now. That was very clear. Like just a black outline to the right of the window. And the only feeling left now is to want to go up. I hope I don't throw up.
Upstairs again, and this time Mia's in the attic room.
The longer I'm in this house, the worse I'm starting to feel. I feel sick, I've got a headache, I'm cold, I'm sweating. Everything's unbalanced, feels uneven. The further up we got, the worse it gets. Yet every now and again I get this waft of awful rotting smell, which is not physically in this room. And they think they know what it is. I'm sure that they think it's something sweet and it's not that bad, it just needs to be sorted, but it isn't. But I don't know yet who it is. But I'll be very glad to get out.
With her tour completed, it's time for Mia to leave. She believes the lounge, Chris's bedroom, and the attic bedroom to be psychic hotspots. Mia is accompanied by our very own paranormal investigator, Mark Webb.
I call myself a paranormal investigator. What that means is I go to reputedly haunted locations around the UK and try to get some sort of scientific evidence that ghosts do actually exist. No one really understands how a ghost manifests itself. Sometimes it can be a recording of something and it's just playing itself back, if you like. They're not aware of us, but somehow we're aware of them.
Skeptic Chris French, Professor of Psychology, will look for a rational explanation.
I'm a psychologist with a special interest in the psychology of ostensibly paranormal experiences. Lots of psychological research has looked at what's called the fantasy-prone personality. These are people who have very, very rich imaginations and spend a lot of their time engaged in fantasy. Now, there is no doubt at all there's a strong relationship between fantasy proneness and the tendency to report paranormal experiences.
Mark and Chris arrive in the haunted home's Winnebago, ready to meet the family and learn what they can about the alleged haunting. They are led straight to the living room.
We all find in here, when we're sat there looking into the hallway, there's someone there, like they're walking up the stairs. Sometimes, not all the time, there's smells. They can be very sweet smells, or they can be really nasty, horrible smells.
And can you identify what they are?
The sweet smell's like a lemon, or it can be like a lady's perfume, and the nasty smell, it just smells rotten and horrible, and it comes in the room and it whiffs under all our noses and then it just goes.
What about other areas of the house?
Upstairs, stuff happens more often up there.
Okay, do you want to show us what has happened up there?
This is my room, and the most recent thing to happen in this room was the door. I was asleep in my bed, and the door, it was pushed to, and it opened like that on its own. Not really slow, like it couldn't have been just the wind, because it wasn't even a windy night either. So that was quite weird.
So have you actually heard anything in this room?
I think it was the same day. My mum came down, she thought I'd come in, but I hadn't. And she said that she heard the keyboard tapping, like just like that. And it's quite a distinctive sound. But there was no one like in here, like they were both asleep in the other room. And there was no one that could have been using it.
Now that Mark and Chris have completed their tour, it's time for Mia to finally meet the Purkis household and discuss her findings with them.
I want to talk to you first about the psychometry. With the shell, the only thing I got was the smell of like rotten cabbages, like sulphur. This is not a good sign, because when spirit come and visit people, they can often come with the smell of perfume or flowers. Ever so common. And visits are ever so common. Completely different thing from a haunting. Because a haunting is to have something that's stuck there, not just visiting. Yeah. So I know you've got something here. Now, let me tell you how I'm going to walk around the house. In your front room, immediately the hairs on the arms are coming up. I've got that rush of cold. And I also saw the room as it was years ago. But the strangest thing from my point of view was to be in a room that I'm seeing it like 50 years ago and now, 50 years ago and now. It was actually switching between the two. Anyway, so then I went upstairs and went into the front bedroom on that first floor. And as I walked in there, I saw something standing by the window. And I actually had to block from looking at it because I don't want to talk to it yet. And so I went upstairs to the very top room. And as I've gone up there, My head was like a splitting headache straight through the eye. It's the most awful energy. Awful energy. What I got from I got a guy called Eric, okay? And just before I left that top room, he said, it's not what it seems. Because I thought I got it sussed. I thought, it's an old lady, used to live here, this is her place. It was just falling absolutely into place. It was so easy, you know?
Yeah.
And then he came, it's not what it seems. It's not just that. Great.
This prompts Marie to tell Mia about the stacking she witnessed.
When Stuart and Christopher were quite small, went in the front room, and the cushions were piled up on the coffee table in the front room.
Classic poltergeist. They stack. And they stack things that shouldn't be able to be stacked. That's not a good thing. It's not friendly. It's not doing things to help you. So you have to think, what sort of personality is it that would do this to you? And most importantly, please God, that it was human and not something else. I could be wrong, you know, I'm not contacting anything, but all my instincts saying we've got a little old lady who used to live here and is trying to still be part of the house, and then we've got something completely opposite that has got a completely different agenda. And those energies are fighting not only at you, but against each other for dominance. Well, I must say I am intrigued about the vigil, hoping you hold your nerve, because it'll be the only time, you know, we've got a chance with all the equipment and all the cameras to try and get it on film.
Tonight, psychic Mia Dolan and the other haunted homes experts will conduct a vigil with Stuart, James and Chris. A tense night lies ahead for the boys. Their aim is to discover if there's a supernatural presence in the house, or to see if there's a more rational explanation for the boys' reports. Our cameras will be filming throughout this investigation. As the time for the vigil gets closer, our three experts meet in the Winnebago to discuss their findings.
I think what's brilliant about this one is, you know, the story about the stacking cushions. God, I love stacking. It's poltergeist, I love stacking. And they stack so well. It would be the absolute dream if we go from one room, go out and come back in and they stack the chairs or something.
If we got that on camera, then I'd be convinced.
So Chris has thrown down the gauntlet, and now that night has fallen, it's time for Mark to set up his equipment.
So we're going to set a camera up in this room where Mia claims to have seen a figure over in that corner. We're also going to set up a mini disc recorder next to the keyboard there that Chris's mum claims to have heard tapping away of its own volition. So hopefully we can capture some of those sounds as well.
As well as Mark's equipment, there are also fixed cameras positioned around the house. These have been set up in the lounge, the stairwell, and the attic bedroom. With everything prepared and the house in darkness, Mia, Mark, Stuart, James and Chris make their way to the living room and start the vigil. Chris and Marie watch from the Winnebago. With the torches switched off, they wait for the house to settle.
Did you just get darker then?